that what has the most focus creates your reality. So that what you're focusing on the most is what you see showing up in your reality. This is what I'm going to talk about today. I'm going to give you a real life example from my own life, and I'm going to show how tricky the old story is, how it's like pulling you back, and what you can do to stay more aligned with the new story. First things first, my name is Lydia Wilmsen. Here on the channel, I talk about all things business growth, conscious creation, manifestation, mindset tips, all of that, especially for high achievers who are very driven but still feel they are stuck and they are not moving into the direction that they actually want to move. And they are looking for ways that also apply to their logical mind, to their analytical mind. And this is what I do here on the channel. And also I'm a big fan of deep work. So I know you can just repeat affirmations all the time. This also works. However, I'm super curious about where those things actually came from. And sometimes if you just repeat affirmations, you're not hitting the real issue, you know? You're just saying like, hey, I'm loved, I'm loved, I'm loved, but you're not even aware where, like, what is underlying or like below that. And for that, actually, coaching is super helpful. And if not, then of course, just watch my channel here and see how I do that. And get inspired by those things. If you want more, you can join the Mind Mastery community, which is $200 a month at the moment. And it's really, really powerful. We have weekly coaching calls at the moment. It is really amazing. And because we are still a small group, we are below 20 people because I haven't started a long time ago. So you basically get one-to-one coaching at the moment. So now is the time to jump in if you want real support for your issues. So you don't have to spend $200, $300 on a single session with coaches. No, you can join the group and get this coaching for you, and we will figure out what is keeping you stuck in the scenario at the moment. You can also book one-to-one coaching with me, of course, on my mastermind. All the links are in the description. If you have questions and want to talk to me personally to figure out what your best next step is, you also find the link to my socials, and you can just send me a quick message on Instagram, LinkedIn, and then we can really go a bit deeper and see what would be really helpful for you in your scenario. Okay, let's get to the topic at hand today, which is again the bridging period, which is again, why don't you have that what you want yet? Like, what is keeping you stuck? Because I love talking about that because it is such a common issue with people. They try to change something in their reality, and all people do that even with normal methods around, you know, you want to lose weight, you want to have more clients, you want to have more money, you want to have a better relationship. There is a lot of talk out there how to do that with techniques in your physical reality, in your 3D reality. And it's always about changing something because you're unhappy with what you have at the moment. And for most people, they apply things, they try to apply methods, techniques, and it's still not working. And we want to talk about why this is the case and what you can change to make it work for you, basically. And I have a beautiful example from my own recent business journey for you. So what people do is they, of course, focus on what is not working. Like every time you ask, why is it not working? Why don't I have the money yet? Why is my partner still not showing up in the way I want? Why am I still struggling? You're, of course, in the old setting. You're in the old identity, in the identity of it's not working. And this identity is not bringing that to you, not bringing the identity to you where it is working. Because if you're in the identity of it is working, I have everything I want, you wouldn't be asking that question. So of course, already asking that question on repeat is part of the problem. And of course, you can ask it if you're coaching with me or if you're asking a question in the Mind Mastery community. Of course, in the coaching setting, you will say, I'm doing this and that, and this is happening or this is not happening. Of course, in that scenario, yes. But what most people do is they ruminate on that. They are going into like loops and loops and loops of hours. Like, why is it not working? I'm doing everything. I still don't have what I want. So this is the issue, you know, it's not the issue of asking it once in order to get coaching. It's the issue of living in the reality of it's not working. That is the problem. And you have to understand, if you start shifting into an identity of it is working now, I have what I want, I have the money, I have the clients, I have the loving relationship, or my partner is showing up in the ways how I want them to. If you're shifting into that identity, for most people, there is a bridging period. Not for everyone. Some people can shift instantly. And on a manifestation level, of course, it's an instant shift because they are two different states and you can shift into the other state instantly, of course. It's not something that necessarily takes time. For most people, though, they do create time. So we have to talk about it. For most people, there is more like a softer landing into the new identity. It's not that you say, I'm not chosen today, everyone hates me. And then the next morning you wake up and you say, I'm chosen, everyone loves me. And you live in a different reality. For most people, this is not the case. And it makes sense that it's not the case because you would go crazy. If you repeat one thing once, and the next day you wake up in the Bahamas married to a different person, you would go crazy. And then the next morning again, something else happens. You live in New York, wake up to another person even again. Now you have 3 children. Like, you would go crazy if every day something else happened. So those things, like, you have to persist in them so that they harden into fact into your material world. It's a reason so that you can, there's a reason behind that, so that you can feel it with your physical senses. Internally, yes, it is an instant shift. Physically, though, it often has like a time of unfolding. There is something happening until it unfolds, or it already starts unfolding, but until you fully see it fully unfolded in your physical reality. Because it's just a mirror to your inner reality, but it has time to it, it has physical matter. Things move differently in your physical reality, and it makes sense because only then you can fully immerse yourself in that. But manifestation itself, on a quantum level, on an inner level, of course, is instant. But don't wait for it to happen the next day, because then again you're going into your external reality. You're going into like, why is it not there yet? And where are you? In that moment where you ask yourself, why is it not there yet? You're in the reality, it's not here. So you're back in the old reality, you understand? So you jump from one reality to the other reality. And because the other one, the one of it's not here yet, has been your predominant reality, this is why again and again you find yourself there, because it has been the dominant reality. If you then 10 times repeat, I'm in my new reality, but then you go back like, oh my God, it's not here yet, it's not happening. You go back to the old one, which has been imprinted so much more in you. So it's still the dominant scenario. So of course that pushes out and not the new reality, you know? So you have to understand, just because you're saying it once and then like, oh, now everything's changing. Like, no, it's often not the case, because you have been predominantly in one state. So you have to shift into the other state and make this your predominant state. And between the old predominant and the new predominant state, there is usually a gap. There is usually a bridging period. As I said, not for everyone, but for the people I work with, we all encounter that. And that's also the beauty of being human, you know, it's the beauty of evolution. It's the beauty of seeing the unfolding. And the more you trust it, the more you have evidence from other areas of your life, basically the more you can trust this, the more you can ease into this, the more you can feel into that and know that it's happening. And when you know that it's happening, then usually it happens faster and faster and faster. So it's also a learning process, but still, everyone says that, all the manifestation teachers out there, or most of them, when then there is they have seen so much evidence of that happening, and then all of a sudden there is a new big topic in their lives, and then they also go into like, oh, what if it doesn't work for this scenario? What if it doesn't work for this thing? And they go into the very same questioning and moving and wavering, you know, and they experience also that, like a little bit of new reality, back to the old one, a little bit of new, back to the old. So it is part of the human psyche that we have very big desires where we are confronted with all our limiting beliefs, with all our old stories and where they come from, and the trauma imprints. Because as I said, that's human evolution. So it can be a very beautiful process if you really step into that and if you really accept it, so to say. So the story here again is to keep focused on that what you want, even if it's not showing up yet in your physical reality. And just to say how that works, just to give you an example from my own life, I have been working on new leads, on business growth, And the thing is, I have built a successful business, and I have built a successful business on high retention rate. So clients who come to me usually stay for years, because they also do big projects. They develop the next level in their business and the next level of their business. So I'm really almost like a mentor on their side, and I go through all the different changes in every area of their lives with them. You know, it's not that I help them with one thing. It's really like mentorship through every stage of life and business. And so I often stay like even 3 or 4 years with them. So I used to have few clients who spend a lot of money. So almost like high quality, but low quantity. And then I wanted to start to have more quantity, but I had limiting beliefs around that. Also because of my childhood. I grew up in a cult setting. I was really hesitant when it comes to big group settings. So I always said I wanted to have a big group. I always said I want to have really like my membership up to 100 people and so on. And I want like a lot of people come to me and so on. And it never happened. So I started to really uncover and dig deeper into all the beliefs I had about that. And I figured out a few very, very deep ones that don't just come up in the first session. You know, it takes a little bit of time, and I teach a powerful methodology and technique how to rewire those really old imprints that sometimes are even generational. They sometimes even are pre-birth, pre-verbal stage, and we can work with all of that, and it takes sometimes minutes to release those old limiting beliefs. And what the process then was, first, nothing happened. The same every day in my business. Then, a few days later, I started having more leads, more inquiries. I have 3 businesses, so I basically had inquiries for all of them. People saying like, hey, tell me more, or being coming from other people, being like referred to me, and more people asking. And then I had more leads, and I was like, yay, you know, cool, but still no signups from those people. And then at some point, I started getting signups from those people, but it was a time delay in between that. And I could beautifully observe what I teach my clients all the time, because every time there was a day of silence, I would go back into like, yeah, it doesn't work, you know? I just don't get new leads. I just have to work with the clients I already have, and I love them. I love them so much. So I'm not saying this with like a negative feeling, you know? So I was really like, yeah, okay, I just have to stick with what I already have. And I was like, no, Lydia, what are you teaching? Focus on that what you want and not on what you don't want. So I could really feel the energetic pull. I could feel the pull of like wanting to take me back to the old story. It has never worked. That was never what happened for you. Why should it work now? Look, it's not happening. You're putting all the content out there. No one is replying. No one is inquiring. And I had to, it was like really like an addiction to the old story. I had to physically almost, like somatically, viscerally pull me back from that old story into, no, it's working, it's happening, it's working, it's happening. Of course, doing my own routines around that. And then at some point, as I said, I started getting the leads. But then I was getting leads, but no conversions from those leads. And I went into like, look, it's not working. And I almost disregarded the leads. You know, it's so interesting what your old story does. You do have new movement. You do have new things happening, but you will go into like, this doesn't matter. You know, like you don't even acknowledge it. You don't even recognize it. You don't even notice it. You directly go into the old story. It's not working. It's not working. And then, of course, I kept reframing, I kept doing my work, and then I got the first signups from those people. But, you know, like slowly, and I was still going back to the old story. It's not working. Even though I already had signups. It's like, yeah, whatever, they signed up, but whatever. I didn't even celebrate it really. It was like, yeah, it's not working. Look, I don't have so many people. So your old story will always go back and find new reasons to hold on to the old story. In the beginning it was, okay, no one is inquiring. After that it was, okay, they are inquiring, but they are not booking. And then, a few are booking, but the rest not. Like, can you see what the old story does? It always gives you new reasons and new stories to hold on to, which are still the old story. It feeds you new stuff and you totally disregard the new story. I could have directly gone into like, wow, I'm just feeling and living and breathing in my new story. I'm super happy about that. Nothing is happening, but I'm so happy. I'm so amazed at how this feels in my body, that now I'm living in this inner reality of so many people are inquiring, so many people are jumping in. I didn't do that, but this would be the way. And then the next step would be, like, then at some point something would have happened, but my energy would have come first. My energy first, my inner shift first, outside reality shifts. So people are showing up and inquiring, and then like, wow, so many leads are showing up. I'm so happy. And it's just a short time until the first one signs. I'm so happy about the new people joining my world now. That would have been the right thing to do. And then the people starting to sign up. And then the first sign up being like, wow, I'm so happy. Welcome to my world. I love this. I'm so happy that all of this is working. I'm so happy that now people are so interested and they already book. And only then more people would have booked. And I would have been like, wow, my reality really is changing. I'm so happy to be in this reality where people just inquire and they directly book, and they don't even take a long time to decide. They just decide. But you understand, this is the way how to do it. And I'm learning more and more how to do it that way as well. Because usually, as I said, we have certain areas in life where we have lived in an old identity for so long, for your whole life. So it will take a little bit of a shift to go into that new identity. But this is how you can support that. As I said, use your emotions, use your celebration, use your certainty, use your inner reality, and celebrate everything. And even if it's just a tiny step forward in your own energy, go and celebrate the heck out of that. Keep focusing on that. Keep focusing on the shifts. Keep focusing on what is working versus going back to what is not working. And then when you have the first signs of physical evidence as well, go celebrate the heck out of that, and always make it mean that it's working for you. Not like, oh, look, only one person signed up, not 10 people signed up. No, make it mean this one person signed up. Wow, my reality has changed. This is utterly amazing. So you can see, you see how I used to look at it and how I'm looking at it now. There is a very different energy behind this. This is how you do it. And if you're struggling with that because you directly go back into the old identity, please join us in Mind Mastery, because this is what the group is there for. There are other people working on their things. We have weekly calls, but we also have a membership area where you can share your wins, you can share what's happening for you. At some point, there might even be a Telegram group connected with that, but at the moment, you can post in there. It really has a community sector in there where you can share videos or you can share messages with the others and get support from the others. You have a powerful course about conscious creation. You have a powerful course about EMDR and bilateral stimulation, BLS, where I teach how to, one of the most powerful trauma therapies that you can use to really let go of your old story. So I'm, of course, doing that. And this is why I'm changing my reality so quickly, because I use those tools. And I have the support of amazing people around me who are already working on living in their new stories, It's way easier when you live in the new story than when you constantly go back to people from the old story. I had that. I visited family over the weekend, and it was on the one hand side, of course, amazing, but it also brought back a lot of old stories. So it did dip my energy. So I was so happy to come back to the energy of manifestation, of moving forward powerfully, because it directly helps you. So I encourage you, join us in Mind Mastery. It will make your path so much easier. But until then, I'm planning on doing daily videos. If you have any questions, put it into the comments. Let me know what you want me to talk about, what you want support with, and then we take it from there. Thank you for subscribing, for sharing the content, for liking the videos. It really helps my channel to grow. So I'm just starting again. I had a quiet period of a few months. So I would really like to boost this channel, because I feel I do talk about those things differently, even than most high achieving coaches, like people who tell you how to achieve in business. I do teach things differently, even though those are this is my group, this is my target audience. And I teach it differently than most manifestation and conscious creation coaches out there, because I bring different methodologies in it. So please help my channel grow so that more people can learn from this and apply those teachings. Okay, thank you for watching, and until the next video. Much love to you.